Hey there, today, in honor of the fact that we're getting closer to sunny weather, blue skies, the chance to get outdoors, I thought we would make a scene here of a lakeside view. Some people would call this a seascape, but because we can see land on the other side, I'm going to call it a lakeside view rather than a seascape. And what we're going to learn in this drawing is how artists are often changing the size of things in their picture in order to create a proper perspective. Our view of this lake does not mean that this is a miniature boat next to a giant boat. It is simply that this one is further away from us. So changing the size in art can often help the viewer understand your perspective or the way you are viewing this lakeside view. Our view here our scene will have three sailboats in the lake, three different sizes. This one here obviously being the closest to us as the viewer. This one back just a little bit into the middle ground. And then just before our background, we'll create a small sailboat that is off in the distance. Again, it is not a miniature one, it is just further away, before we add some gentle rolling hills into the back, the other side of the lake. If you're ready, today I'm going to draw with a Sharpie marker, but you should not. You should draw with a pencil first in case you make mistakes. We're going to begin with this first largest sailboat, specifically the boat part. So I'll give you one last look at that one and the three of them together before we start on our own fresh, clean sheet of paper. So over here, about the size of my hand, the sailboat's actually going to reach up quite a bit into the paper. I'm going to start near the bottom here with a slightly leaning line. I'm going to allow the top edge of this boat to curve just a little bit, bringing down the back. And now the bottom of this would be in the water. So this line I'm creating is going to represent the edge of the water that the boat is sitting in. So it is a lake, not an ocean, so I'm going to allow it to curve a little bit. The water would certainly be moving, but not all that much. Now that I have the boat portion established, I'm going to bring up my centerpiece here. I believe this is called the mast. And then from there, I'm going to create my two sails. I'm going to start down here at the bottom of the sail with a curving line, trying to show that this sail is being pulled into the wind and that the wind is quite active. I'm going to also curve this line up and around to the top. And then when I bring this down, it won't be straight, it will be slightly curved as well. Again, that's trying to represent the fact that this sail is in the wind and being blown and pulled. So I'm going to add some stripes here to my sail, matching the curve of that bottom line a little bit as I go up towards the top. Then I'm going to create my other sail. On this one, I'm going to bring down a slightly curving line, curve to the back here, and then swoop in for this side. Again, I'm going to try to match the bottom of this line, the bottom line of the sail, as I go up for my stripes. If you don't want stripes on your sails, if you want a different sort of design, that would be fine. And up here, I'm going to bring this a little further. I'm going to put a piece up at the top and have a little curving line there for a flag, matching the bottom of the flag to the top of the flag. All right, nice job. So now that I have this one here, I'm going to come over to the left side of my paper. Ignore that bell, it's just here in the video. So I'm going to come over here, and much smaller than this one, about half the size of that one, I'm going to draw a second boat. This one was sort of facing this direction, so I'm going to have this one, it's going to be going off this way. So I'm going to start with the angled line for the front of the boat. Again, the top of this is going to curve a little bit. Take that a little bit further before coming back down to the water. And again, the bottom of the boat is in the water. It is a lake, not an ocean, so while it would be moving a little on this windy day, not all that much. Take up a line, and now our 2 sails. Curve this out here, and the other side as well. Can add that little piece to the top of that, and then stripes if you choose. Lastly, over on this side, the right side of the boat, a little higher on the paper, remember that we need space at the top in the back for our hills. In fact, why don't we just stop now and establish our horizon line. Near the top, we're going to bring a line across that shows where the other side of this lake is. That'll help because now I know where I need to place my other small sailboat portion, much smaller. We talked about the fact that this is not a miniature boat. Just 2 little triangles here will be good enough to represent the sailboat in the distance. Before we show some movement in the water, I do want to establish our gently rolling hills. So I'm going to toss a nice big one in there. Another one coming in from the side here. These are gentle. These are not mountains near this lake. They're sort of just a few gently rolling hills. Now I'm ready to add more movement to my water. This boat had that line at the bottom. I'm going to add a few more around it, stopping and starting. And then the same over here with this one, again near it. I'm going to add some more. Same with the other. Just a few lines gives that representation of a little more movement. But near the edge, often if you're looking across a lake, you'll see some water reflections. I'm going to have I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing here. I'm just sort of tapping my line as I go across, doing the same over here. Again, it's not a heavy dark line. We're just trying to show some of the reflections that are happening out there across the lake. Very easy way to show that. And then as I get closer here, I'm going to do a little of the same, just showing more little bits of water before I decide that I'm done. So in mine, I started with Sharpie, so my outlines already exist. For the rest of your class, for the rest of this session, you should outline in Sharpie so that you're ready for next class. If 3 boats was not good enough for you, if you want to really show that there is quite a grouping of sailboats out there, if you wanted to add another one, certainly finding a spot way out there for an additional small one would be an option. Something like that could happen in yours. And a sun could be added to show that it is quite a sunny day on this lake. Rays coming all the way across. Little things like that could be added to personalize your drawing. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, artists are often thinking about the size of things to show a proper perspective of space. Not outer space, but the space between this boat and the shore. How did I show our viewers that there was space between there? By changing the size of these boats. So I hope you enjoyed experimenting with that, and we'll see you next time to color this artwork.